Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. I see we are all seated and waiting, and it is good to have all of you here. Sorry, we are starting a few minutes late. Please just confirm that you can hear me by just saying we can hear you. So if you can hear me loud and clear, just put it there in the comment section. We can hear you. And the first to have resumed and sat for this lecture today was Cordelia, and we clap for you. Well done to you. Okay, so please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear on this beautiful Friday where we're having our Friday live. Great. Thank you, Grace. Grace was the first person to confirm. Thank you very much. It's so good to be here with you guys again this week. And who was in the TIP Summit Port Harcourt? If you are there live, and you are here right now, just say I was in PH. Yeah, it was a great time with the TIP team. We had all the coaches there. Oh my, it was a wonderful bomber. All right, great, great, great. Thank you very much, everybody who is confirming that you can hear me. And we're going to dive right in. We've already wasted a little time. Sorry. We had some technical hitches along the way, but we're here now, and that's the most important thing. So have you shared this to somebody? You know that our Friday life is always talking about something in marriage, something very important that everyone you know needs to hear. So share it right now to your friends, to your families, to your colleagues, to everybody that you know. Share it very quickly, and like also. Thank you very much. All right, so today we're talking about how to create intimacy in your marriage. How to create intimacy in your marriage. And that is what it is that we're talking about today. And Grace says I was in PH. Oh, great. Grace, I hope you snapped with me if you were in PH. I hope you did. All right, great, great. So, what is intimacy? Intimacy is a sense of closeness, the ability to trust and share privileged information with another person. That's what intimacy is. That closeness, that ability to freely share information with somebody, that is what intimacy is. And it will be good for you to understand this particular definition of intimacy so that you know that intimacy is not just about sex, because that's what a lot of people think of when you hear intimacy. No, it's wider than that. I mean, it's so wide that today I'm going to be telling you 10 types of intimacies. Yes, 10, and there are much more than that. So intimacy is about closeness, that ability for you to relate, that ability for you to be able to be free with somebody. And this somebody in this case is your spouse. So ability to be free with your husband, ability to be free with your wife, that's intimacy. Being so close that you are inseparable. My wife and I, we call it the mafia marriage. That's what we've been operating for 15 years. The mafia marriage, where we're so close that it's difficult for an outsider to come in and do anything that will scatter it. That is what intimacy is. So we have a lot to talk about intimacy today, and so we're going to dive right in. And my beautiful wife is here. Shout out to you, the convener of the TIP Summit, and shout out to you, the #1 parent coach in Africa. So let's go and look at the 10 types of intimacy that I have here for you just now. 10. We're going to go through it. We don't have so much time, so let's see how much we can get through it before we now talk about how to now actually get intimate or how to improve it with your spouse. All right, great. Dr. Molola, I see you saying that you want Australian TIP Summit. Don't worry, it's coming. It is coming very, very soon. We'll soon be in Australia. We'll be in every part of the world that you invite us to. If you invite us, we will be there. All right. So the types of intimacy. Let's look at the first one, physical intimacy. Physical intimacy. Now, physical intimacy is the one that you are used to. That's sex. I mean, that's that it's also called sexual intimacy. So that is intimacy where you are so close with your spouse that you freely have intercourse with your spouse. You enjoy having intercourse with your spouse. You understand each other when it comes to intercourse with your spouse. That is sexual intimacy or physical intimacy. However, it doesn't stop in just sex in itself. It goes further to include everything you do: touch, kissing, hugging, holding, massaging. All those things are actually part of physical intimacy. So when you are so close to each other that you're able to do all these things freely and do it willingly and do it happily, then you have sexual intimacy. There are a lot of people who are married but don't have sexual intimacy. So even the sex that they have during the marriage is just to fulfill all righteousness. There's no joy in this, there's no closeness, it's just there. So you just do it, have children, do it when you have the urge, but there's no intimacy, there's no joy, there's no pleasing. So you need to have those other elements for it to be called intimacy, or else it will just be sex. Let's move to the next one. The next one is emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy. Now, emotional intimacy is husband and wife being able to express their feelings freely. Yeah. You're able to express your feelings freely. That is emotional intimacy. Now, where you have a couple that can't tell each other what is going on with them freely, then they don't have emotional intimacy. As we are going through these 10 intimacies, I need you to be scoring yourself in physical intimacy between 1 and 10. Where are we in our marriage? Now we are talking about emotional intimacy between 1 and 10. 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. Where are we in our marriage? So that at the end of the day, you can take a look at it and know where you need some help, where you need to improve. Because you are supposed to, all these 10 intimacies are supposed to be present in your marriage. So the second one is emotional intimacy. And I was saying, some couples, they can't express each other. So somebody is sick and can't really come out to say, I'm sick. And even if he or she says, I'm sick, the other person is not really there to be part of the sickness. I don't know if you get what I mean. Not part of it as in being sick, but to be empathetic enough to actually know that my wife is going through this, my husband is going through this, and I want to be there for him or her. So because of fear of expressing this, you find out that spouses go through a lot of things, and this other spouse, their partners, don't actually even know, because there's no emotional intimacy. This one is a very, very important type of intimacy, actually. Emotional intimacy. And a lot of people really need this in their marriages. If you don't have it in your marriage, then you need to get it. You need to go and speak. Oh my God. You need to go and speak to a counselor and say, this is what we are lacking. How do we get through to it? Because obviously, if you've been married 5 years and above and you are not yet having all these intimacies, then there is a big problem in your marriage. And you can't sit down and ignore it, because the problem just keeps growing. The third type of intimacy that we have is intellectual intimacy. Intellectual intimacy. Now, intellectual intimacy is understanding each other's interests, what the other person likes talking about, deliberating about, speaking about. Do you understand it? Do you also speak about it to her? That's intellectual intimacy. The thought process, how the other person thinks. Are you able to think on the same thought process? Let me give you an example. So your wife is a doctor, and you, a husband, you are a lawyer. Now, for you to say you have intellectual intimacy, it means when she's talking medicine, you are able to grab what she's talking about. I'm not saying you become a professional in it. No. You are a lawyer, so I mean, nobody's saying, but you are able to even have understanding and have a conversation about medicine, about her patients, about the different things, trends, medical trends that are going on. You're able to have an understanding and an interaction on it. That is intellectual intimacy. Then you, the wife who is a doctor, and your husband who is a lawyer, is talking about cases and talking about the law, and you are able to also understand it. I'm not saying again be a professional, just understand a little of it and even flow with the talk. In many marriages, there's no intellectual intimacy. So that makes one spouse go out to discuss with somebody who will understand him or understand her at that level. Now, that is a risk, because once you need to go out to talk to somebody to understand what you are saying, when your spouse is there, then you've opened the door for infidelity. Yes. Because when you now start talking to the opposite sex and you are so excited that the person gets what you are saying, then you start getting close to that person. You know, intimacy is closeness. Remember what we said? And from being intellectually close, there is nothing stopping you from being physically close. Yes, that is the cause of some infidelity. Don't get me wrong, there is no excuse whatsoever for infidelity, and I've made this very, very clear that there are reasons. Just like there's no excuse for a dog biting the neighbor, but there must be a reason. Something must have happened for that to have happened. Now, people who like people, or who fall in love with people, or who are attracted to people that are intellectually on the same level with them are called sapiosexuals. I'm helping somebody here. Just listen to me. I'm helping you out now. It's very possible that you find out that you are not close. You try to get close to your wife or husband, but you guys are not that close. It's very possible that that individual is a sapiosexual. So, because you are not close intellectually, both of you are not able to talk on intellectual things, then it's very possible that that is the reason why he or she is not close to you. But close to other people, colleagues at work, church members, friends. You see them sitting down and gisting for hours, but both of you cannot have a conversation for just a few minutes. It may just be that your intellectual intimacy is not intact. Who is getting something here right now? If you are getting something, just say, I'm getting it. Just put it there in the comment section. I'm getting it. Because I'm trying to help you to understand why you are not so intimate. You and your wife, you and your husband, you're not intimate, you're not close. So I'm trying to help you. Now, the next one we're going to be looking at is spiritual intimacy. Spiritual intimacy. So, spiritual intimacy is when both of you have the same belief. Both of you have the same belief. This one is so important because everything in the spirit or in the physical is controlled by the spirit. The physical world is controlled by the spirit world. You can argue with your keyboard from now till tomorrow. It is a fact and it is the truth. The physical world is controlled by the spiritual world. So if the spiritual world is not, you don't take charge of the spiritual world, then there are some things that will be happening to you physically that you will not have power over. Somebody is asking, Grace, is the word sapiosexual? Yeah, sapio. SAPIO, sexual, sapiosexual. Yeah. All right. So you see, every time. All right. Sorry, a little glitch there. Now I'm back. Every time I see a couple that tell me they don't go to the same church, I'm wondering, what do you think you are doing? So this one goes to church A, the other one goes to church B, and they say they are okay with it. No, you are not okay. It is a very terrible thing to do, because what is happening is that two of you are hearing from two different men of God, hearing two different things at the same time. Now, am I saying that one man of God is superior to? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because you are not hearing the same thing at the same time, it's a problem. And I always use the example of, you go to church, your own church, and they say it is time, maybe the man's church, they say this week we are fasting and prayer. Then in your wife's church, it is bazaar and celebration. You can imagine what will happen in the house. So the wife Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? So sorry, so sorry, so sorry. Little technical glitch there, trying to switch between networks, but I think I'm back. Please confirm that you can hear me right now. Just put it there in the comment section that you can hear me so that we continue. So I was talking about um, spiritual intimacy, and I was saying both of you need to be on the same. You see, when both of you are listening to two different people, there will be challenges. You need to come to the same wavelength so that you have the same beliefs. All right, so that's about spiritual intimacy. The next one is experimental intimacy. Experimental intimacy. Okay, thank you very much, everybody who can hear me. Great, great, great. Experimental intimacy is talking about engaging in leisure activities together. So that's experimental intimacy. So, as the word experiment, trying to do new things. When you're trying to engage in activities together, leisure activities together, and you are able to do it freely, then your experimental intimacy is intact. Dating, for instance, is experimental intimacy. Some of you have stopped dating. Yes, let me come for you guys. So some of you have stopped dating. You don't date after the last dating you did was before you got married. Immediately you got married, you stopped dating. So you are wrong. You need to continue those leisure activities, going out, having fun. That's part of experimental intimacy. The next one we're talking about is social intimacy. Social intimacy. For some people, background has broken this one, has destroyed it. So maybe where you are coming from, something happened to you along the way, and you are not a social person. You are generally, please don't pride in I'm not a social person. It's not something you pride in. It's a different thing to be social, and then it's a different thing to be antisocial, and then it's a different thing to say you're a quiet person. You can be quiet but social. The one we are talking about is people that are antisocial. So you see people in one place like this is a problem. You can't talk. You can't be the first to bring up conversations. You don't know how to start conversation. There are some people that have this challenge in their marriage. Yeah. So you are not able to freely interact and share ideas with your spouse. Then you lack social intimacy. You can't be honest, you can't confide. Some of you can't share secrets with your spouse because your social intimacy is warped, is destroyed probably from when you are young. Maybe people have made you distrust so much so that it's difficult for you to even trust your spouse. And so you now have a problem with your social intimacy. I'm helping many people here today. I've told you, write them down and start scoring yourself 1 to 10. In physical intimacy, what am I? Intellectual intimacy, what am I? And so on and so forth. Okay, so you must ensure that you are social with your spouse, or else your social intimacy is poor. And I hear Dr. Celestina saying it's like stray bullet is coming for you. Well, you better dodge, dodge, dodge. All right, let's move to the next one. The next one is creative intimacy. Creative intimacy. So, in creative intimacy, we're talking about your ability to do creative things together. Now, we have in the Marital Academy, we have the Couples Conclave, and the Couples Conclave is an 11-month program. If you are not in this year zone and you are listening to me, please start registering for next year zone. The registration details will come up after so that you will see. Start registering for next year's Couples Conclave. It's important that you are in something like that. We'll still talk about that as we go on. So in the Couples Conclaves, we give activities, weekly activities that husband and wife should do. It helps in the bonding and helps in the intimacy, in creating intimacy. And one of those times, for instance, it was puzzles. Do a puzzle together. Now, your creative intimacy will be tested in doing those kind of things. You will know whether you can do things together, create things together. Cooking together is creative intimacy. A lot of things that you can do together that need some creativity, that's creative intimacy. All right, very good. Let us move on. The next one is conflict intimacy. Conflict intimacy. And I don't know how many of you were the resolving conflicts in marriage course. It just ended last weekend. If you didn't take that course, and I want you to please be honest with yourself, if you didn't take that course, please reach out to the number that is on the screen, scrolling on the screen right now, and go and purchase a replay for you and your spouse. Both of you should sit down and you should watch it. If you don't have conflict resolution skills in a marriage, you will have issues. You will have conflicts that you will not be able to resolve. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years. The other day, I had people who came to me with 21 years old conflict because their conflict intimacy was, you know, problematic. So you must have conflict intimacy. What does it mean? When you have a conflict, are you able to sit down and, resolve the conflict? Can you appreciate your spouse's point of view? Because that's part of it. When your spouse is coming from this end, you say, no, 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 I can't see. You can't see what your spouse is saying. So it's difficult for you to resolve conflicts. So every time it's only what you are saying that is important. What your spouse is saying seems not to be important. Now that is a challenge in intimacy, in conflict intimacy. So you must have conflict intimacy. What's the next one that you need to have? You need to have, this one is very interesting. Aesthetics intimacy. Aesthetics intimacy. What are we talking about here? How do you see things together? Are you able to see things together and agree that they are beautiful? Aesthetics intimacy is what causes disorganization in many houses. Because this person wants this wall painted white. The other person says, how can you have a wall that is white? Oh, let's have it green. The other one says, no, let's have it pink. You don't have aesthetics intimacy. Two of you cannot go to an art gallery and you say, this is looking very beautiful. And your husband will say, yeah, it's actually looking very beautiful. It's a challenge. Don't say it's not a challenge. Don't come and tell me, no, we have different tastes. So if you have different tastes, that's why you're married. Start aligning those tastes. Because it's going to help you in the organization of even your home. Or else, this one will just go and buy this beauty thing in the home. The other person will buy this. Everybody just wants to beautify the home in a different way. So you now have disorganization. And even your children will suffer from it. Because whereas this person says, let's dress the children like this, the other person says, no, let's dress the children like this. That's because you don't have aesthetics intimacy. Yes, that's it. You don't see beauty in the same way. And it's a problem. Again, I say, don't come to tell me, no, we should be able to have different views. Yes, you should be able to have different views that converge at a particular point. They can be different, but you should be able to, there are some things that should bring them together. But where nothing brings them together, you are irritated by the sense of beauty of the other person. It even affects, let me give you an example again. So a husband loves the wife's hair braided. The wife loves her hair coiled. That's already a lack of aesthetic intimacy, especially if you cannot come together to now say, okay, can we both look at it this way? This is actually not so bad. The coiled hair is not so bad. The braided hair is not so bad. But this person stays and says, if your hair is coiled, I hate it. And this one says, if my hair is coiled, braided, I hate it. They are using the strong word hate. There's a big problem. And for this example that I've shown you, because a man's attraction comes, part of the things that attract a man is the hair of the wife, and he wants it in a particular way, and you, the wife, have insisted that it should be in another way, is going to affect something in your sexual intimacy because you are not going to attract that man. I've just helped somebody here. You can see how aesthetics intimacy is affecting sexual intimacy. That's why I said all 10 are intimacies that you must have. So how are you able to see the beauty in things? And then final intimacy, number 10, that we're talking about today. Remember, there are much more than this. Number 10 is work intimacy. Work intimacy. So this is the ability to be open and comfortable working together. Work intimacy. Now, my wife and I operate this work intimacy. And so, for all the businesses that we run, we do them together. There's no business that the other person is not involved in. So, right now, I'm speaking to you on the platform of the Marriage Seal Academy. My wife is involved. In fact, right now, as I'm speaking, she's making sure that everything that I'm doing is working. At the Intentional Parents Academy, I'm fully involved. In the background, I am arranging everything that you see outside. So that's work intimacy, the ability for both of you to actually work together. That's work intimacy. Now, this is very, very important. And when we say work intimacy, it doesn't necessarily mean both of you are in the same office. So it just means that when somebody is doing their own work, you are part of it. You are able to be part of it. That's work intimacy. Now, this is very, very important. So Cordelia says we have this a lot, talking about aesthetics intimacy. So should I do my hair the way he wants, even when it's not convenient for me? From time to time, yes, ma. Because attraction for a man, and I mean, we've spoken about this before on this platform. A man sees three things in a woman, biologically. Three things. First one is the woman's hair. The second one is the woman's eyelashes. The third one is the woman's waistline. These three things are things, if you are a smart woman, you take very good care of them and find out from your spouse how he likes, especially the hair. So yes, you need to come out of your comfort zone and from time to time do that. That will spark something up in him. All right, great. So what of the ones that don't want to buy wigs, so they love to cornrow? You will like it, ma. It's part of it. That's part of growing the intimacy, and we're going to get down to the things that you need to do to now grow this intimacy. What I have just done is I have helped you people to understand the different types of intimacy that you can have in a marriage. So now score yourself. When you score yourself, then come with me. Let us now talk about the things that you need to do. Okay? All right. Somebody is saying she wants to go and buy mascara. Dr. Happiness, I hear you. Okay, beautiful. So, what are the things that you now need to do to be able to have these intimacies built? Because remember, I said you must have all these intimacies. They are not optional. You can't say I choose to have this one and I won't work on this one. No, you need to work on all of them. So what are the things that you need to do? Number one, you need to improve your communication. Yeah. Improve your communication. This is very, very important. Because when you improve your communication, you are going to find out that every other thing will be easier to do. Like we always say, communication is key. If your communication is having issues in your marriage, you are just going to be rolling, everywhere and hitting walls without making progress. True. That's just the truth. So your communication needs to be intact. It needs to be good. We did a course sometime November last year. I don't know how many of you are part of it. Improving communication in marriage. See, these courses that we do are things that you need to do your best to be a part of. It's important. It's important for you, because when you refuse to do like what we are doing right now, this live webinar only gives you a taste. In 1 hour, we cannot finish everything about a particular thing. For instance, what I'm just teaching you now, these intimacies, each one of them needs like a full course. So we give you this so that you are able to see the need to now look for more information on the things we're telling you. So go out, get books, do courses. In the academy, we have books, we have some courses you can do. Get books, do courses, and begin to grow yourself in your marriage. It's a lifelong journey. You don't reach a point in marriage and say, I've graduated. No, you continue. I'm a marriage counselor. I've been a marriage counselor now for 11 years. I have books, over 10 books that I've written on marriage. I have courses I've developed on marriage. Yet, every time I'm looking for a marriage course to do. I'm looking for a marriage book to do. So it's important that you know that you need to continue to develop yourself. And that's why I'm telling you now that communication is too important for you to ignore. If you want to do anything in marriage, please do make sure your communication is intact. That is number one. There are three things to do, three major issues in marriage: communication, finance, and sex. These are the three major issues in marriage. So please don't play with these things. No, don't play with them. They are too important. So improve your communication. And I've told you there's a course that you can get. Go to our online store, reach out to the number that is there. There's a whole course. It was a 2-day course, so you can get the replay on improving communication in marriage. And it takes you through the steps on all the different things that you need to do. So improve your communication in marriage. This is too important. The next one you need to do is that you need to spend quality time together. Spend quality time together. I can't overemphasize this quality time. Some of you are jumping around the world trying to make money. It's good to make money. Me, I'm jumping around the world and I'm making money. But while I'm doing that, I'm consciously creating time for my wife and my children. It's important because you see, the time you don't create is what is causing you not to be able to build the intimacy. When you create time, you are going to be able to, you saw the intimacy, you saw creative intimacy. When are you going to now do that level with your wife? You saw the one we talked about, experimental intimacy. When are you going to go out with your wife? So you need to have quality time and you need to spend that quality time together. It's too important. Spend quality time together. This is very, very important. All right. So the next one you need to do, the next thing you need to do, number 3, is you need to reveal yourself. You need to reveal yourself. What does that mean? Do you know that the reason why your spouse is not able to be at the same intellectual level with you, for instance, is because you've never told him that this is what you need? Somebody will say, must I tell him? Must I tell her? Yes. Your spouse is a spirit, but she is not a spirit. Did I confuse you? Yes, your spouse is a spirit being, but your spouse cannot enter your mind to start getting everything you are thinking of. Yes, some things your spouse will get by living with you and working with emotional intelligence over some time. However, there are some things that you need to just come out and say to your spouse. I know some things are not comfortable to say because you just feel, this thing that I'm saying, I'm expecting him to know, I'm expecting her to know. Yeah, that's true. But now that the person does not know, you are now judging somebody on something he does not know. It's like a man coming into a new town and does not know that they don't wear shoes in the town. And then you now see him and then you arrest him and you start judging him. Now it's unfair. I know they will say ignorance is not an excuse in law, but that's when you have even made the law known. You're saying does not have an excuse of ignorance. The person will have. Your spouse right now is ignorant of many things that you need or things that you want. Even when we talk about physical intimacy, which is sexual intimacy, there's a way you want it. The way you prefer it. You've never told your spouse, and then you are angry with your spouse. You've even reached a stage where you are resenting your spouse over some things, and your spouse does not know. Now, that, I think, we can equate it to wickedness or even witchcraft. Permit me. Because you are expecting your spouse to know something you've never told him or her. Yeah, it's exciting when your spouse is able to, discover things about you. That's really very exciting. It's fun. I'm not taking that away. However, when after a while you see that your spouse is not getting it, please reveal yourself. Let your spouse know that I need this. I need you to be able to communicate to me like this. I need you to be able to dress her hair the way that you like it. And you are just angry all over the place. That you've never taken time to say, darling, Do you know I actually like your hair like this? There was a time you did it and it was really nice. Do you know she all of a sudden she just realized that, oh, really? Oh, I didn't know you liked it. And then she will now start doing what it is that you like. There's a way you like food. Your wife is not giving you in that way. You've never told her that you don't like too much salt, or the salt is too little, and you're angry with her. Why? There's a way that you love being greeted by your husband. You love being hugged. You love being kissed 10 times in a day. You've never told him. The man kisses you once. It's not as if he didn't at all. And you are raising hell. And he doesn't know, genuinely. Your man comes home every day, buys you flowers, and you don't like flowers. You've never told him. So we need to reveal, please. Instead of getting fights when there are no fights, please reveal yourself. Okay. Number 4, fight anger. Fight anger. You see, when your spouse has done something to you and you're angry about it, and that you are gradually going to talk, is freezing. I'm so sorry. Is it better now? Can you hear it now? Please, I beg you. I apologize to you. It's a little bit beyond control. The network today is kind of funny. So just bear with us, okay? So you need to get to a point where you don't fight your spouse, fight anger. Don't fight your spouse, fight anger. Many of us are fighting our spouses. But if you look at the thing that is making you angry, really, it's not as bad. It's actually you who cannot control your anger. So instead of controlling your anger, you are fighting your spouse. So fight anger. Fight anger. It's too important. If you fight anger, you will find out that the anger will on the levels that you need to be. So fight anger. All right, let's move on. Number 5, love genuinely. Love your spouse genuinely. Genuine love is very, very visible. So you are loving your spouse not because of the way he looks or the way she looks or sounds or anything, just because you have chosen. Love is a choice. Did you know that? Did you know that love was a choice? So you choose to love your spouse. You don't wait for something to determine it. You need to choose that, you know what, I am making a decision to love my spouse. And you hold on to that decision, come what may. So sometimes your spouse will do things to you, maybe not intentionally, that will upset you. Love your spouse. That love will make you even look at that thing and understand that this person actually didn't do this thing intentionally. And then you can come out and tell the person, this thing you did to me, it upset me. So love your spouse genuinely. And we've spoken about love severally on this platform. Loving is by giving. You show love by giving. Give your time, give your resources, give your body. Give, give, give. So love unconditionally. Thank you very well. Love unconditionally. Thank you, Vera. And then after this, the last one is be part of a marriage program. A marriage program is going to help you. It will keep you on track of all these things we're saying. It will help you to remember what you are supposed to do, because sometimes it's not that we don't want to do these things. It is that we don't remember. Too many things calling for our attention, so we don't remember these things. And if you don't remember these things, then most likely you won't do them. So you need to genuinely be part of a program, and this program will help to keep you on track. where you are supposed to be. So I don't know how much you have worked on yourself and what scores that you have in all these 10 intimacies. But whatever be the case, wherever you are, you need something to hold you accountable. So latch onto a marriage program that every day you are hearing something on marriage, you are seeing something on marriage, you are doing something about marriage. People have joined the couples conclave and have come back to say, oh my God, we didn't know what we were missing all this while. Now we are doing things together, we're cooking together, we're playing together, we're running after each other in the house. We didn't know that these things were possible. We always gave the excuses of there is no time. Who said there is no time? Wait for you to be, God forbid, if you get sick with an illness and they tell you if you don't stop working, you are going to die. What will you do? You will stop. You will create that time you say it's not available, you will create it and you will still not lose your job. So it's a conscious thing for us to do. So be part of a marriage program. And we have the marriage, the couples conclave of the Marriage Seal Academy. What a beautiful program to be a part of. Join that, be part of it, and create for yourself an environment where you can continually build these 10 intimacies and build it well. You see other people who have done better than you, it helps you to move forward. This weekend, for instance, at the couples conclave, we are reviewing a book, The Act of Marriage, and the act of marriage is about sexual intimacy. Yeah, so we are reviewing that book. We did the whole month of April was on sex. That's what a marriage program does for you. So it just keeps you on cue. So join a marriage program like the couples conclave. And if you want to know more details about the couples conclave, please look at the number that is on your screen. That number, reach out to that number and just put couples conclave. If you just put couples conclave there, all the details you need on the couples conclave will be shared to you. At the couples conclave, what do we do there? Every day you get daily tips on marriage. So you every day you wake up to something that reminds you that you are married. Yeah. Every week you have an activity given to you that you and your spouse should do that will help you to bond. It can be cooking, it can be karaoke, it can be doing puzzles, it can be going out to get ice cream. Yeah, we did that recently. Number 3, every month we have a live webinar that picks one aspect of marriage and talks about it. Number 4, we have assignments that we give each other, like the book reading that we are doing this, and we come and review it so that everybody gets an understanding. You see different perspectives. Even you that has read the book, you will find out that there are other ways, there are other things you didn't see. You get that? Number 5, you are able to get couples counseling at a discounted rate, because the rate that people who are not part of the conclave pay is different from the rate that conclavites pay. By the way, we call ourselves conclavites, people in the couples conclave, and we don't leave. Every year new people just join us. We just start in January and end in November, start again in January. What else? You get discounts on courses. For instance, the course that we did was 30,000. The last one, Resolving Conflicts in Marriage, was 30,000 for everybody else. Conclavites paid 10,000. So you get those kind of whooping discounts. And then finally, once in a year, we go out for a physical retreat where we go out with couples, we go out, spend a few days in a resort and just have fun and build our intimacies in marriage even more. These are things you get in the couples conclave, and you will just find out that it is an accountability system that you cannot miss. So please reach out to the number on the screen and begin to ask for, just type there couples conclave, and when you put couples conclave there, you get all the details that you need. And that is where we come to the end of today's edition of our Friday Live, this 3rd of May 2024. And May is a special month for me. It's my birthday month. It's an exciting month. So nice things happen in May. So just know that in your marriage, nice things are going to happen. Amen. Yeah, they will happen for you. So you begin to prepare for how you will start building these intimacies, these 10 intimacies. And as we round up, if you have questions, this is the time for you to put the questions in the chat room so that we can address those questions. Put those questions in the chat room. We have just a few minutes to quickly answer them and put them as quickly as possible so that we don't have to leave them out. Okay? Again, like I said, all 10 intimacies are supposed to be present in very high levels in your marriage. And just in case you missed it out, number one, physical intimacy. Number two, emotional intimacy. Number three, intellectual intimacy. Number four, spiritual intimacy. Number five, experimental intimacy. Number six, social intimacy. Number seven, creative intimacy. Number eight, conflict intimacy. This one is important to go and get that course if you've not done it. Number nine, aesthetics intimacy. And number 10, work intimacy. These are the intimacies that we have. And while we wait for the questions, let me see the ones you want to work on. Put it in the comment section. Say, I'm going to work on this intimacy and this intimacy. That's the one you can see that you are lacking very, very highly in. So say, I'm going to work on this intimacy and this intimacy. Just quickly put it there in the comment section so that it will also help to keep you accountable. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yes, Joy, thank you very much. I got maximum value from all the points. That's great. Happy you did. Oh, Dr. Celestina, thank you so much, sir. Yes, Cordelia, my Cordelia and her, husband, great husband. Yeah, thank you again for the knowledge. Yes, 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 yes. It is my pleasure. And oh, Dr. Omolola, all the way from Australia, always meeting every single program. See, if you are intentional, there's nothing like I don't have time. This woman connects to every single program, even if it is in the midnight. Sometimes it's 2 a.m. in Australia, she's connecting. I celebrate you, Ma, you and your husband. I celebrate the both of you. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, so everybody, people have started writing what they're going to work on. Dr. Happiness says, I'm going to work on creative and social intimacy. Very, very good. Please write down what you're going to work on. Put it on the comment section so that you will be accountable. You know what you've written. You will most likely work towards it. Okay. And I see you. NS says, I'm going to work on aesthetics intimacy and creative intimacy. Very, very good. All right. So I don't see any questions in the stream. And I want to say thank you for all of you taking time out. We don't like keeping you 1 hour, just 1 hour. It's a working day. So 1 hour on Friday to just get out, use your break time, come, watch this and be renewed again and move on again. See you guys in the Couples Conclave 2025. Begin to register. Registration has already opened. You see, we try to register early because there are limited slots. So once we get to the number of slots that we can take, we stop registration. So you want to quickly register, you can actually book a slot. There's a way you can just book a slot with a tiny amount out of the registration fee. Book a slot so that you can be there in 2025. All right, great, great, great. God bless you all. See you again next Friday for another edition of the Friday Live. And I will be here teaching you something else about marriage. Remember that you can get books. Our books are online on Amazon. They're on our seller store for e-copies. And anything you need from the Marriage Seal Academy, counseling, premarital counseling, or conflict resolution, whatever it is that you need, reach out to the number that is scrolling on the screen and we will get back to you. God bless you all. Bliss and joy.